Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Cambridge Soccer Cards. Now, this week, Derek, I'm going to ask you a big favour. We need to put a black screen over the guest. I'm going to do a little introduction, quite big introduction, and then you're going to slowly reveal who it is and see if the listeners can guess who it is so we don't ruin the suspense. Tonight's guest has over 2,000 YouTube subscribers. He has been on the official Sorare podcast, has hosted Soccer Cards United, has over 11,000 views on YouTube, has over 5,000 followers on Twitter, has appeared on Fox News, an early adapter of Football Index, an early adapter of Sorare, a hobby influencer, won me my Adil, sold me my Savage. Tonight's guest is John Nellis.
I am like properly red here, sweaty under the collar. Like that's the best ever intro I've ever had. Yeah. Some of those things I'm not too proud of. Yeah. Like early adopter to Football Index. It's kind of like, oh God. No. Ooh. And the Fox Sports Asia, it's like, oh God. Yeah. But no, honestly, look, thanks so much for having me and thanks for the very generous intro. I'm sure people are disappointed once you took the black off the screen.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you
very much for coming on, John.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to it, lads.
So do you want to talk us through your hobby experience as this sort of, we'll go hobby first and then we'll do sort of Sorare put the next towards the end. But do you want to give us how you got in the hobby, why you got in the hobby, and
yeah, I think like what kind of got me during this journey of like content creation and like just caring more about sort of the wider football scene outside maybe FPL. I played FPL for like whatever 10 years, 15 years now maybe. But I think Football Index was the thing that kind of got me in the door of sort of longer term speculation about players' careers. And I was making a podcast about that and I was really passionate about it. And then through it, I met Jason Flynn and Enzo from Soccer Cards United through making a podcast. And I think it was just like, whenever I seen them posting about soccer cards, it just seemed like a kind of natural, it just seemed like something I'd be into. Do you know, I already had a few like signed jerseys and things lying about, and I really liked the kind of collectability aspect. And then whenever I realized, okay, I can buy a bunch of rookies who I believe in and sort of make almost a long-term bet in a way. That's the way I was looking at it. So I just came out the sort of door blasting, buying rookies left, right, and center. And
when was that, John? What sort of 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago? Were you getting into the hobby?
Maybe July, August.
Okay.
In around then. So not too long. Like I'm by no means an early adopter at all. But I think like it was it a quiet summer and then it boomed after the summer? It was a kind of booming then because COVID was in by April.
We joined the same. I think yeah. So Gary V announced it. Then it was a few weeks, and then I think a lot of people joined sort of that sort of August time, and then it sort of boomed again. So I think August was when a lot of people got in. Then now it's like sort of boomed again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we come on board about October.
I think it was October.
Yeah.
About October time.
When I hear that, I feel like a relatively early adopter. Do you know, it's not early, but I think again, it's all relative, isn't it? Because
absolutely, definitely.
So much.
And for 2 months, I was nagging them to join the hobby, and they were just having none of it. I was in August, and I was like, look, I was like a soft play with Will. I was like, look, just the players, help me out. Just buy the players. Nah, I don't trust it. Nah. Now do a podcast. Can't complain.
I thought when we came into it, I thought that was the peak. I thought we'd come in at the wrong time, but it's just growing and growing, isn't it?
Nice, it's all good.
Hopefully. So what did you start off buying then, John? You're saying rookies. What were you looking at? Specific players or looking at any potential rookie?
It was funny because there's always the ones that are almost overhyped, and it's not that they're overhyped in terms of their ability and future potential, but there was always players that it's kind of like, I felt like at the time there were players where everyone's eyes were because of the likes of Gary V, João Felix, Kylian Mbappe. Everyone's looking at these guys, Erling Haaland. Maybe even Haaland was pretty cheap back then when you think of it now. Yeah. But I was kind of more looking at like, right, Ryan Cherky or people in the wider hobby scene. I felt like my age, and I feel like a lot of us in Europe feel like it's our age, and maybe it still is, but I think now as the hobbies grow more and more in Europe, that age has been taken away day by day. But it's what do the Americans not know? Do you know? What do the Americans hear? The guys who aren't soccer fans, the guys who are here because they're hobbyists and here because they want to make a quick buck. They hear about Kylian Mbappe and they're off buying him. I want to go and buy someone, like I was buying, like the tops now, like the Pedri, buying blocks of 20 of them, buying blocks of 20 of the Judes, buying blocks of 20 of. That's kind of what I did with a lot of the tops now. If they had an RC symbol and there was someone who I half rated,
do you still
I think
do
it's
that?
like 70 quid. Yeah, but they're fewer and far between now because I feel like the golden age of that almost, in terms of just the quality of player and the amount of them coming out, was early stages in the European, sort of the Champions League and the Europa League, because obviously tops have the license to do it. But as all those lesser known teams and lesser known players get whittled out, now it's just like Haaland's, Foden's, Mbappe's. Yeah. And they're players that are well known. They're players that already have rookies. What I was kind of praying for, like, was that Ren would give us a Camavinga rookie or a Doku rookie or this type of thing.
Living set.
Do yeah. So like, I feel like whenever the Champions League comes back around again next season, I'm very excited for that because, or if they get other licenses, because you're less likely to kind of get under the radar players, and any of the ones who aren't who are kind of under the radar, but are at a big club. Like, he's not under the radar. Diallo, I'm thinking, like, the print runs there are just stupid. So I feel like it's about trying to find someone who's niche enough that the print runs low, but their upside is high enough that it's worth outlaying. Yeah, and I'd always say if you buy in 20s, you're pretty much sorted because you can just sell them as singles.
Yeah. So do you still do that for even if they haven't got a parallel? Because I know Topps obviously moved to those rookie cards, a bit more parallels to encourage people to try and chase the parallel. Are you still buying the volume for rookies that don't have that parallel? With your like criteria that you're trying to get that niche player.
It's funny because I feel like there's been very few of these rookies that I'd actually chase recently. So I haven't bought many, and I'm not buying, like, for me, I'm a bit. Does this make me pure? I don't know if I could call myself a purist. That's a bit much. Like, I'm definitely not a purist, but like, do you know, like the first tops now of like Jude Bellingham? I personally I rate that 10 times higher than the one of him screaming on the camera, because I just think it's the first. 100%. That's the whole thing with the rookie. 100%. That's the first. Yeah. But I also see that it's the rookie year and all the cards, and maybe if you can get one a few weeks later, like all the Makokus, first one massive print run, and then ones after that. So the print runs will fall off. So then in 15 years' time, if he goes on to have an illustrious career, will people look back and be like, well, that's a rookie year one with a 4,000 print run as opposed to the one with tens of thousands? I don't know.
I think with me on that, I was early on Jude because I was a big fan of him. So I brought his first tops now, and then I've seen the print runs go up. But now I've just said, right, I'm just going to get every single one, and if he does pop off, I'll sell it as a collection. Like every single Jude's tops now. Well, obviously it's gonna be hard getting a rookie card because we got when Chrome comes out and when Sapphire comes out, they're gonna go crazy. But at least I'll have every single tops now or sort of basic card. Same as Musiala. I picked up Musiala's first one, and then now I've tried to get the tops now of each one that he comes out, sort of thing.
Yeah, I hear you. I got his too. I kind of just have a box of them there, the slabs of 20, long-term play. Because I really do think, like, if you're buying them in blocks of 20, and it only works if everyone's not doing it, because if everyone's doing it, you're kind of wrecked. Yeah, they're lovely cards, aren't they? The issue is that if everyone's doing it, I don't know, everyone will have them. Everyone's keeping them.
Only the Sharks do that, don't they? Only the Sharks do that.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. I only tend to buy 20s. The only one I bought more, I bought 60 of the first Judes. Because that was back in the day, I was very excited about the hobby, like, whereas now I'm much more like, I don't know, maybe selective. I don't take everyone, but
how many Pedros did you buy? How many the Pedro with the Messi?
I only bought 20. I only
if you got 20. 60 of them, eh?
I know.
That is beautiful cards.
I was amazed. I actually sold them recently.
How much you get?
Like a $12.50, I think, for the 20 of them. 1,250.
Wow.
Quid.
Yeah.
I thought that's outrageous because I think, like. And now that I've sold him, it's not like I'm trying to shit on him. I mean, I think he's a very good player. I think he's at Barca. I think he could become anything he wants to be. But I just think, like, the position he plays and at present the type of player he is. And when we look at other players, it's that whole thing about hype versus actual, like, players that have realized their potential. Like, why is a Kevin De Bruyne worth less than a
I get that. Yeah,
that kind of argument.
Yeah.
So when I look at Pedri, I'm kind of like, right, long term, what's the best case scenario here? He's not going to be the top goal scorer.
Yeah, see,
the next 10, 15 years. So it's like,
as a player, I'm still not sold, but I think that card, it's like a passing of the torch card. That's why I really like it, is because it's like the new age. It's like if Messi wasn't in it, I don't think it would hold as much value as it does, personally.
Was
I
Messi
think-
in the background of that?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
that's
Messi's
what-
in the back.
I didn't even
Pedri
click
one,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that. I was wondering why it was so highly priced. Yeah, I get what you're saying there.
And that's the last
But,
of those transition cards as well. I think after those cards, more and more people got into the hobby at that time, and like you're saying, the print runs of the rookies started to then start to go through the roof a bit. And that Pedri one feels like the cusp of when it changed as well. So it's a bit of an iconic card, definitely.
You're making me regret it now, lads. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell.
Yeah, look here, look. I know you can see that. You got Messi there, and it's like
Oh,
a
geez,
passing
he's
of the-
right there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, look, I don't know. I was happy to move the money, but
That's why. That's why I like it. Is because it's like the passing of the guard sort of thing. Like, man, if you had like a Ronaldinho Messi card, like how nice that would be.
yeah, there was definitely some sort of what set was it? Was it knockout? No, was it what's the other one called? Best of the best or something? I forget. There was kind of like the passing of the torch. It might have been a different set.
Best of the
There was
best
like
had
10.
the master and apprentice, didn't they, on those big
Yeah,
cards? Yeah.
If they'd have been normal size cards and maybe less,
Yeah.
obviously high. If it was a more premium set, like I think that card of like Messi to Fatty would have been one of the golden sort of cards of the last year. Really, such a nice kind of moment or transition, isn't it?
What is your view of tops then? Sort of like you say, best of the best being too big, and sort of you had the tops now. What is your feeling of tops? Sort of when you got in the hobby, and then where tops are at now when you're feeling of top. Because my opinions changed loads. So you might not listen, but like sort of I was really did not like tops at all. I didn't like their releases, how they did it. Whereas now, obviously had the drama today with the F1, but I think the MLS box, the museum box, they released at such a good price point, and it was a surprise drop of sort of on the site. So what are your feelings of tops?
I'm probably going to go down a mad rabbit hole, so keep me on track because there's a lot of things in my mind when I think about what do you think about tops. So I was always really positive, I think, because I maybe was used to the likes of I was on Football Index for so long, and they had tech issues for forever. And whenever I remember it was maybe 6 months, 8 months ago, I forget what it was. I don't know. There might have been it might have been the museum of that year or Sapphire, one of these releases. And back then they were still making the kind of error, you could say, of sort of giving a time and a date. So then the way I kind of looked at it was, this is a company that's been operating away, selling boxes like this for a long time. And their servers, I am not even a tech guy, but the way I imagine it works is their servers and their site was not built to deal with that much traffic. And to
That volume of
transition
traffic,
it,
yeah, exactly.
to deal with that volume would take money, would take time, would take resources, right?
Yeah.
I was really, maybe like people will maybe just say, oh, John, you're being an Egypt, but like I genuinely was like buzzing about how shite the site was and like how glitchy it was and how much it was crashing. I was kind of like, look at how far the hobby's come, that they cannot actually deal with the demand. And it's all about supply and demand, baby. And the demand is here. Do you know, I was thinking like, this is amazing. Now, the big question in my mind at that stage, and it's probably something they haven't done well enough, I kind of thought it's how they react. It's not what's happened, it's how they react. And they haven't really reacted quick enough. If the site's still shitting itself, the amount of money they're pulling in, they have to be able to have a site that can take a bigger load. So that's probably the one biggest gripe I have, is that their site still can't deal with it. That said, the way they're releasing it now, it shouldn't have the same load. So
today they released the, I don't know if you were
Sapphire,
chasing it, the Sapphire for the Formula One, yeah. And I think it wasn't a timed release. I think it was an unannounced schedule, but they did it, I think, about 3 o'clock UK time. So that means then the Americans are awake, and they I think from what I've read, I think 75% of what came on, of the stock that came on, went to the States from the UK side.
Who releases that? Where do you find that out?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where those figures are coming from, but on Twitter, people were saying that 75% of the stock sale went to the States. So I don't know where they get that info from. But I mean, I was on it quite early when it got released, trying to, you just couldn't get it to the basket. You couldn't, when you did get it to the basket, you couldn't get to your to your checkout. That's just like you're saying. When they have those releases, the infrastructure they've got can't cope with that volume of traffic passing through their data center. It's a company that is that big to have that, just that technical problems. And I think even looking at today on Twitter. I think they had it on the States as well. The website and the American, when they launched it, they had similar issues. So you think
That's the thing. Like, yeah. Sorry,
Is
I
it
butted
not
in there.
is it not geofenced yet or not? It's still not geofenced.
I don't think so. No. No.
And because
Panini do.
Panini, don't they?
Okay.
So I wonder if Topps.
I think so.
I think people are complaining that America got it. So surely if they just let UK customers get the UK stuff, but
There's such drama between the UK and the US and the hobby front, isn't there? I don't know. It's one of those. I think but now it is kind of at the stage where their site really should be able to handle it. Like it really should.
you think how much they got from that one Jude print run? How much money they made off that one singular print run? Surely off that they could have fixed the website off that one release. Mental.
They're literally printing money. They're printing cards. They're printing money, and
money definitely.
It has to be their priority. I mean, even if, because look, the bottom line is it's still going to sell out. People are going to be disappointed. People are always going to be disappointed. There's no way to please everyone. That's the killer here. I can empathize with Topps, but these kind of random drop releases go a long way to making people feel like it's a bit more fair. And you'd rather be shafted out because you're a little bit too slow than being shafted out because you feel like it's your computer. It's everyone's computer. The lucky few get through. We've all been there. You can't actually find it because it's not popping up. And then it's like you're not authorized or this, or there's some prove you're a bot or your account's been locked or this, or there's all these things. And then if you do manage to get through and get one into the basket, you're spamming the basket. And then the card details are a whole other thing. It's just, it's a pain in the bollocks. And losing out to that leaves a sour taste. If it was a smooth experience, you get to the checkout. I think once it's added, the card, it should be locked.
Agree,
100%.
Derek's,
Derek's opinion.
Like Ticketmaster, if you buy a Ticketmaster, you've got a quarter of an hour, 10 minutes to make your checkout. Should be the same.
100%. Because there's nothing worse. You have it in the card, you go to pay. Sorry, this is out of stock. I say, fuck off. It just pisses people off.
Yeah,
it just pisses people off.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's kind of tangent from that. Something I don't really buy. And a lot of the purists and proper hobbyists and all, I think I heard, was it Mitch from LDN Cards maybe? Mightn't have been him, but I would consider him a purist. He loves a hobby.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant.
He was our last guest on.
Yeah, great guy. But it mightn't have even been him, to be honest with you. Might have been, I don't know, someone, but they were saying sort of about how it's bad because the people who actually the kids who want to open their stickers and cards or boxes and all, they're getting shafted. While that might be true in the 1% of cases, let's not kid ourselves. Everyone's a fucking shark, and anyone who says they're a collector is a chancer. Yeah. We all do. We all have our PC. I get it. But if I had been going for F1 Chrome Sapphire, I don't give a shit about Formula One personally. And I don't know if any of you, maybe you do. Do any of you follow it? No. But you would have tried to get the box.
Yeah.
You probably would have been reselling that box or opening it to try and get a big hit to resell. So the bottom line is people get upset because there's money left on the table. I feel like it's the mad minority, the 5%, the 2% that are the ones that would be annoyed because they don't get the F1 Chrome or whatever because they're such a purist and they love the sport. And do you know?
Yeah,
do you know the kind of thing I'm trying to get at?
Yeah,
exactly.
If they are that, would you not say to them, save up and get the ones that you want off the secondary? Because everyone's going to buy it and flip it. So if you are a purist, surely you'd rather get the card that you're going to get. Whereas if you get a box, you're not guaranteed the card you want. If you're a big George Russell fan, surely you'd rather pay to get a really nice George Russell card rather than pay the risk of not getting a George Russell card. Does that make sense? If you're a real purist, surely you would go after the cards that you want rather than the gamble of getting a box.
I think the issue is that Topps, it's not an issue, it's a beautiful thing. Topps really respect and appreciate, I think, what the hobby is. I think they're real about it. And I think they understand how important the secondary market is and how important they realize how important it is for their model in terms of risk, that they need to shift the boxes at a reasonable price. They take their money, they're happy, and they know everyone's going to go and resell. But Panini with Prism,
you got it behind you. We can see
I've
that.
got the 2 cereal box things. And I'm a tool. I just seen it was there and I was like, all right, I'll buy a couple for the rip. Jeez, they were madly overpriced and I got nothing. But anyway, with those Prism boxes, 600 quid or something. I can see why they do it. They're saying, we sell this, they all resell it all, and everyone makes money. Why are we leaving money on the table? I can see that. But it's like Topps appreciate that and Topps price accordingly. So the reason I went down that tangent is like, I think it's one of those that hobbyist who wants to collect the George Russell, as you mentioned, they're getting the box at such a competitive price that, you know, they're probably going to get them. And if they don't get them, whatever they sell, we'll buy them 10 of them. Do you know, it's like they have to chase the box. We all have to chase the box at the value and the markup, you know?
But what's Topps and resellers? Obviously, I don't know if you must have seen the fuss with the knockouts. It was knockout, wasn't it? It was knockout, wasn't it? It all kicked off, yeah?
Yeah.
Obviously, they gave loads of, well, again, it's all speculative. I don't want to, but seems like they gave a lot of boxes to the resellers that then listed it 10x 10 minutes after it hit the website, and then the website sold out really quickly. Do you see Topps have learned from that, or do you still see them caring about the resellers a bit too much?
It's a tough one, right? Because I think when I look at that, I looked at it like there's parts of it are unfair, and I think the big unfair thing is no one likes to see someone getting hundreds of boxes of something and marking it up 10x. That's showing no respect to the hobby. It's not. But do I see why Topps like having that kind of reseller model and why it's so prominent, particularly in the US, for so long? I do, because while there's premium releases that we all have our eyes on, these resellers are probably taking a bunch of shite cards that no one cares about as well. And what the purpose that serves for Topps is it de-risks Topps from having thousands of pounds worth of products sitting on shelves. So if they have X amount of resellers who they give boxes to, and the deal they'll have with them is kind of like, look, you have to take the rough with the smooth. You know, you're taking our bloody WWE fucking stuff, but that means we'll give you an allocation of the more premium stuff. Do you know?
Yeah.
So with the way they're looking at it is, we're able to sell all of our stuff. We keep them sweet for the shite stuff, but we'll give them the good stuff. Yeah. And I like that. But I think that the key there for me and the sticking point is it needs to be very clear, no uncertain terms to the resellers, that the reason that exists is to promote the hobby, and like ripping the piss going 10x minutes after the drop and everyone's raging for missing out. It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah. I think it's because knockout was so cheap as well, at 30 quid. Wasn't it? Like, that probably would have sold out just off their website from people buying it. It's such a really good product for £30.
Yeah, it was underpriced, if anything, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it probably should have been 60, 70 quid, but you can't give out to them for pricing it low. Do you know what I mean?
No.
But look, again, I think like everyone knows reselling is part of the market. I understand why it has to be there from Topps' perspective. I just think if the resellers play the game, no harm done, as long as the allocations aren't fucking crazy. Do you know what I mean? But I do understand the necessity for them for the bloody like Ben 10 premium card set, the Fortnite cards, or whatever these people might happen to take as well. Do you know? But anyway, that's just my thoughts. I'm not particularly passionate about it either way, to be honest.
What about Panini? Oh, go on, Derek, go on.
So have you purchased museum boxes? Or
I got no museum. I missed the surprise drop. I think I was working or something, or I was driving.
Okay.
Which is a shame. Last year I got a bunch of them. I was a proper shark. Like I signed on, got the max out. It was one or two you could get. Signed back in with a work email, signed back in with another email, got a few of them, ripped them all on streams and stuff. Didn't get any real big hits, but they're a great box to open.
There's a lot better this year as well. I think it's a lot. The cards in it are a lot better than it was last year. Personally, for me, I think Topps have realised the cards that people want. They've definitely looked at the hobby and seen who's hot. And like you can see on the front, there was what Camavinga. Oh, I'm gonna forget now. But there was like players that they knew people want in the hobby.
For the museum, they went big on Camavinga, didn't they? When Camavinga was there for all of the tiers, so you could get his autograph, his relic, from his base all the way up. Because they obviously went big on Camavinga as a hobby boy.
It must have been in the works for a while, because as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I was so like not confused, but it was kind of like, really, whenever they weren't printing the Camavinga, or as I said,
you think they were saving up
rookies? They knew back then, and that was back in the earlier stages of the Champions League, so like September, October. They knew even then, I reckon, that they had that Camavinga deal kind of coming in, and they were going to save it as the draw, which is good to see they're planning ahead of time. It's good to see they plan that far in advance, so they're not just winging it together. Panini and stuff. I mean, what's it? There's the infamous card, isn't it? Like Fulham conceding a goal and it's like atmosphere in an empty stadium or something fucking mad.
So going from tops to Panini, obviously you got your display at the back that everyone can see on the vodcast. You're repping the Panini Premier League Prism. That obviously clearly you got hold of the cereal boxes. So same again with tops. What's your view on Panini pricing, products? You brought anything? You a fan of them?
I think the thing with Panini is they're just so much less accessible, and I think because of they've less releases. I don't know. It's not where I go. If they had the Panini instance up and running, I'd be checking in every week, and I'd be have my eyes more on Panini product. If they did like the equivalent of like on-demand sets more regularly, if they had more product. But whenever the only product that has really, there's probably a few I'm not thinking of, but like the ones you do get, isn't there like Obsidian and all these other releases?
Yeah,
there are ones out there, like, but I think like Prism, there just wasn't a great class of rookies. I got those cereal boxes just for a bit of fun. I didn't stream them or do content around them. It was just to sit here, and I was very disappointed. But I didn't realize there was no autos in them when I ordered them, or like no proper parallels. They were just like numbered parallels.
Yeah,
they were just to be shitty ones. But I don't know. I don't shop as often on Panini or get Panini product. Obviously, they price it higher. Maybe they aren't as good a company at marketing, promoting. I don't know.
Though. They need to be. It's a strange. Panini's like they see themselves as so big that they don't need to market. They just think we'll put it out and it will sell. Whereas I think they realized with the Premier League product that people didn't sell out. Like it was available for a long time after it was up.
Do you think they just see that their soccer card market is in the States and the soccer sticker market is Europe? Because obviously, if you go to the Panini UK site, it's just stickers. Do you think they're just primarily focused on Panini US for all their card releases? Or
yeah,
do you think they'll have a transition that they'll start doing a bit more releasing in the UK?
Maybe a bit naively, but yeah, hopefully they start releasing more in Europe. I mean, the appetite's here.
Yeah,
I think they've put up a couple of products over here, but at that price, it's going to scare away, as I say, everyone who's in it for the quick buck. You're only going to get the people who really want to have the thrill of opening packs. You're going to get the people who, I don't know, love the product. You'll get people who break. You'll get that sort of stuff. But I mean, in terms of someone trying to get on, like the demand isn't going to be the same as tops because of the pricing. People aren't going to come on thinking I can make a quick 3x here. Do you know?
Yeah. Because Panini UK they're already selling it at 3x, aren't they? From what you could buy it.
Exactly.
In the States, yeah.
So,
I think their NFL and NBA hobby boxes that they had on their site a couple of months ago, they were like 3x compared to what the price was in the States.
Which, do you know what? Like, if it's a great set and it's a great year, yeah. But on years like this with that Prism, like Saka, I think was the only one who maybe excited some people. And like he has stickers out there and he has stuff out there, and like it's not even like he's not an Mbappe, he's not a Haaland, he's Saka. He's a tier down from that. Very exciting, kind of a pretty great career, but like he's just not the same tier. So like maybe it's hard because of the sort of recency bias of what's happened with that Prism set. That's kind of what's in my head. Maybe in other years that price will be, I don't know, would look a little bit better if it's a better year of cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's just
they don't seem too bothered about the hobby or growing it in Europe or trying to promote it or marketing about it or creating content about it. No, they just seem a bit more like nonchalant kind of. Yeah, they just don't seem to care as much.
Yeah, it's a strange one.
So, breaking news. Mason Mount has scored for Chelsea to make it 2-0.
No way.
News, it's just a big hobby man there, isn't he? So I thought I would let you know that he's put it away and assisted by Christian Pulisic. So what a hobby goal. Yeah.
Well, I just seen Havertz got the assist for Timo Werner with the first. That'll be great for Werner's confidence. Like he needs that.
And he could not miss the opportunity. Couldn't miss it. Not even he could miss that.
You look there that is 4 hobby players there, isn't it? Havertz, Werner, Pulisic, and Mount are 4 real big hobby players.
I got my first ever slab the other day while we're talking about.
Go on. You got it to show off or not?
I do, yeah. Let me see.
I'm so excited for ours, Derek. I'm so excited for ours when they come. How long we...
Kai Havertz.
10. Is that 10?
10,
nice.
yeah. there was seemed to be like, I don't know what it was. There was like a dip, I think, on like Sancho 10s, Havertz 10s, and I don't know, a few other ones. So I got a Sancho one and a Havertz one. This was a few months ago, but it just arrived before like
Oh,
the
did
PSA.
did you get it
grading
sent PSA
department.
or did you buy it as that?
No, I bought it as that off eBay, but I just kind of wanted to get one in the hand. But I tell you what, like it's so funny if any Americans are watching it and they'd be laughing like, "Oh, his first slab, how cute!" But it's like over here, they're so unattainable unless you pay a ridiculous price on eBay and the shipping and the VAT and all that crap.
Like we sent ours off. What must have been November,
Yeah.
and we cannot wait to get that back from PSA. That's going to be.
Did you see the news from PSA today? There was an update on their suspension that they've nearly caught up with the behind submissions.
There were millions of cards off, weren't there? They must be working fast.
So they've obviously expanded their resource base. So they've obviously got a lot more people across grading. They said quality assurance, testing, packaging. They've really expanded their company. So yeah, they've nearly caught up with what was behind, and they're still hopefully still looking to unsuspend the 1st of July.
Just need a European, them to move to Europe. Obviously, you had the digital grading company that are hopefully going to come, but we're still waiting for a PSA or just to set up a European headquarters. Man.
Ireland's
anyway,
the spot. Ireland's the spot.
You and
Huge
Enzo just
tax
keep
breaks.
keep singing that. Yeah.
Brexit wrecked you guys. Brexit absolutely wrecked you.
Yeah.
So otherwise, you'd be prime candidate. Do you know,
Right.
just across the water. Do you know, right the first stop from America. Do you know, it's beautiful. They make nice Guinness. I think it's a spot.
Sounds good to me.
But going over some tops, Panini, and obviously my favorite brand. Have you brought any Futura cards?
I have. I actually got them
have?
the other day too. Oh, they're up there somewhere. I got 2 Delaps and 2 Curtis Jones rookies.
Oh, decent.
I
So is
didn't
that-
get.
Is that a Curtis Jones rookie?
It's the rookie one, yeah.
So is that his rookie year? Doesn't he? He hasn't gone before that, has he? This is his rookie.
I have the tops now, rookie as well, but in terms of Futura, it says like rookies or whatever on the card, you
Yeah.
know. I got the 1 of 35 as well, which is nice.
Decent.
Yeah.
What do you think of Futura then?
I like what they're doing. I do. They're completely different. I don't even know how to take them. I really like the way they're moving. I like the way they do it. What do I think of Futura? I don't know if their cards hold the same weight as like a Topps or Panini rookie will in the long term. Do you know?
Yeah.
I think
don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's exciting to see. I'm big on Futura. They are my PC collection.
Mm.
They're the ones that I go to just 'cause I think the whole writing of what game it's from or the design, the thickness. They're even if they don't go up in value, I still think they're lovely cards. But I'm excited to see once more Americans notice them because obviously it's an American-led market at the moment. So I think once Americans realize this company exists and they do the world football and there's going to be more product, and I think they need one rookie that they have to pop off, and then people can be like, oh, okay, they're original. Like imagine if like Tommy Doyle or Liam Delap or Attil pops off, like, and then people look for the original rookie and they see it's true. They're like, oh wow, what else have they got? If you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think like they're beautiful cards. They are like the only ones who really have a print of a lot of those players. I think if any of them pop off, they'll be a really beautiful collector's item long term, really premium, especially like, you know, the gold frame stuff, the short numberings. It's all brilliant. Like I love it. I just think in terms of like, I don't even know what it is about them. Do you know, it's kind of like we're also conditioned to just think like Topps and Panini are the be all and end all. Like if I come out with a John Nellis soccer card, you'd be like, oh that's cute. It's kind of like, where's the line? Do you know, where's the line there? Futura are doing it amazingly, but like, and they're beautiful cards, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. On a scale of like John making cards to Topps, where Futura, and at what point do they get clout? At what point do they get respect? I don't know if they're quite there yet. And what do they do to get there? Because once they're there, their cards will all go up in value. It's kind of this, I don't know, they're in this in-between kind of space. I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about them, is the God's honest truth.
They've been around a while as well, haven't they? I mean, they
Yeah.
haven't attained that clout as yet, which is what they're doing with the unique live, the way to go about getting it or not. It's just difficult, like you're saying, is watch this space, really, isn't it?
I think the issue as well is that it's like Marseille, there was fuck all there. Do you know, there are clubs and like it seems to be after like the first week or two, it's kind of like, okay, well, the rookies have ran dry. Because if you even look at like the Panini Prism set, as I've said already, it was a shit rookie class. And they've got what, 2 or 3 clubs from there, Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, isn't it? Maybe they have another one. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be waiting a long time before they can release another premium player. Do you know, they really need to get a league or a cup competition or a something so that they can kind of pick from all the little nice places of all the nice cards.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a collector's product than a Sharks product. And maybe that's the issue because I think the hobby is predominantly Sharks. Do you know?
But I think there's like I speak to quite a few people that get Futura cards, and it's definitely more of a. It's not like a flip thing. It's definitely more of a. You know what you want. If you're a Liverpool fan, you're trying to get the Mo Salah like worn stuff. If you're I'm just a Man City, PSG sort of. They're the big teams, so I'm trying to get the Mbappe patch and they're definitely display pieces. Whereas all my other cards, I see them as like investments. Whereas Futura, that's the thing. I don't know what it is about them. I just don't. I don't see them as investments. I see them as display pieces.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to collect.
Yeah,
because they're beautiful cards. They are, and
it's such a weird situation.
The low numbering makes them special as well. Like, it really does.
Yeah. But
I like them. I think they were hard to attain as well. There was a couple of times I went in. I think like the first few weeks, I got a couple of the rookies and stuff, and then I went and tried to get the gold Foden. And I mean, I was there quick. Tried to get the gold Foden thing, and he wasn't even like the main one. Everyone was going for like Mbappe that week or something. So I was like, "This is the move. Don't go for the main guy. Go for the second."
I messed up that week.
Didn't get anything, and then I think the next week I didn't get anything either, and I was just like, "Fuck this! I'm not going back." You know, that type of way.
Yeah.
And all the good rookies were gone by then, so it was like there was no reason to go back. So I feel like Futura for the first week or two, I did find it very exciting, and I liked what they did with that kind of second chance for people to get cards.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good
touch,
idea. Yeah.
They care. That's a big thing. They definitely care.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a turbulent few weeks, haven't they? They've hit a bit of bad run of form recently, I think. Like with their they've dropped a few unique lives off their schedule. You know, they're planning to do one today that didn't happen. I think they've got some challenges with the Thailand post international suspension of deliveries and shipping as well. They're trying to work around that. So I think the delays in getting cards is a bit frustrating.
That's killed them.
A lot of people.
That has definitely killed them. Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people's bugbears are. Whenever you see them post, I think the replies now are shipping update. Where's my cards? Like for me, I got the Mbappe patch, so I'm getting a bit squirmish. Sort of like every week goes by, I'm like, I just want it to arrive now. Like once it's arrived, I'll be a bit more settled. But it's like, I think that's because it's obviously it is Thailand. It's hard for them to sort of control, isn't it? But it's
What week was that Mbappe patch?
Couldn't tell you. It's been a long time. That's all I can tell you. It's nerve-wracking.
So now they're trying to get ways of getting the stuff out of Thailand and then package it in Europe and in the States to give out to people. I know they're trying to work around, like get some alternative routes.
But I think that they seem like they're in it for the long run, if you know what I mean. Like they had the world football, and I think that if they keep the momentum and the boxes, and I think they need to move to Europe. I don't know, like. They need just to get out of. I don't know if it's the Asian market, because they were in Asia, weren't they? That was their sort of get up, was the Asian market. Whereas now I think they've tried to hit the European market, but I don't know if they're.
Yeah. Well, you see, you're going to find it very hard with such limited product to really appeal to the masses. It's always, you know, there'll be too many people going in every week and get disappointed. Even if the demand was there, the supply is so short that people get disappointed and fuck off very quick. Do you know? I've heard, and another thing I like is it's Adam, isn't it? Who's their face? Yeah. Like I like the engagement he's trying to bring. I really do. I appreciate that, and I think that's brilliant for the hobby. It's very hard with the other companies. Remember Dan Lydon? I really appreciated him having a Twitter account and trying to engage and trying to get feedback and trying to judge the sort of sentiment of the place and trying to work it all out. But then all it takes is one or two tits to harass him, and it's like, all right, well, this isn't worth it. So I think for Terror Adam can get away with it, and I think he's doing a brilliant job. But yeah, I think it'd be very hard for them to transition from that kind of niche, loyal sort of Asian user base that I've heard Adam talk about to also appealing to the masses in Europe and America with such short supply of product. I don't know how they do that. They need to but that's almost the beauty of it. Do you know, is that it's short
Yeah.
supply. So
Yeah.
something's got to give, or they just go along happy being a small company. Because, like, Jesus Christ, one Tops Now run probably make, like, one of the big sort of 30-40K ones probably makes more than they do off weeks of releases. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of even the marketing and growth, they're not going to be able to compete with their peers. So they have to be different. But that's not my job. Like, good luck to them. They're doing it all right. I like what they're doing. I think I got disappointed a couple of times in their site because of that scarcity as well.
Yeah, and they have evolved. I mean, they've introduced some enhancements to their website to try and improve the experience as well. Because one of the ones bad experience I had was I managed to get hold of like the Neymar Gold, but then the next day got an email saying basically missed out by a second. So they've put in stuff on the website to say to stop that from happening. So those bad experiences that you sometimes get with like Tops or that you've had with Futera, hopefully they're listening enough to improve it going forward. So I think they will hopefully keep evolving. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Should be good for them.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're doing all the right things for the hobby. Sorry, George, I just spoke over you, but like, they're doing all the right things for the hobby. They're engaging. They're trying to do it as fairly as they possibly can. They're trying to grow it in a sustainable manner. They're trying to do all these things right. I just don't know how they kick on to that next level to appease enough people.
No, I agree.
Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they're happy being niche. Maybe they expect their cards to, one of them to pop off and be stupidly priced because of how low print it is, and because it's like the Delap, let's say he has a really class career. Do you know what I mean? And maybe whenever one of those cards goes crazy, everyone looks at them and looks for the next one. And maybe that's their long-term plan. Maybe they do a Dutch auction then on the more premium stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'd love to see boxes and packs from them. That's what I'd like to see them.
That's what they did, isn't that's what they did like 2020 and 2018 with their World Soccer Heritage brands. They were boxes. So whether they go to that, but again, it's got to be limited because that's their niche, isn't it?
The historic players look good.
Yeah. The mythical 50.
Yeah.
The way they did it with the selector as well, like you could, rather than, because it's such a limit, I think it's 7 cards that you can get for each of those, rather than it being you have to try and buy it at a certain point on the website. They did it via that selector wheel as well. So that if you were interested in buying the card, you put your name forward, and then basically it's a raffle then to get it, which seems a fair way of doing it. You're cutting out the bots completely then from buying it, which you see like on sites.
You just couldn't do that at Tops or Panini scale, which is the killer.
Yeah.
Maybe for unpackable or something.
Not the raffle, although like they're doing the sneakers, don't they? Like you apply for a raffle ticket and then they would draw out, and if you got the ticket, you got the option to buy it.
Probably could, yeah.
I think that would ruin that whole setup, wouldn't it, though, the resale and the demand. I think that would sort of all eyes on them sort of thing.
It depends, like, because I mean, if the box is priced as it is now, everyone's still going to want it, so everyone's going to put their name in the hat, and a lot of people are still going to be let down and not get it, so they're still going to go chasing, So I don't know. I think it might feel a bit fairer. So I actually think like that. I personally think that would be a good move for like Tops, because I don't think fastest finger first. I don't think anyone feels that's fair. I don't think that makes anyone happy. It is fair, but I don't think it makes anyone happy.
Unless you've done it every single time, then you think it's fair. If you know what I mean.
Mm.
If you got a knockout, if you got a museum, if you got that product, then you're like, no, it's fair. Like it works. But then people that don't get it, they don't understand that it's not easy to get. Like you see on Twitter, whenever it happens, everyone's like, "Oh, I got it," but people don't understand that it's not that easy.
I'm excited for Merlin. I think it'll be a good product. The glasses.
Get one.
I got one. Yeah. Happened to be scrolling through Instagram. There it was. That was I think was that the first one they did with the kind of random drop.
Yeah.
After the knockout. After the painful knockout, they did that. Yeah.
I think I was standing outside a shop, and I just was scrolling, waiting on my girlfriend, and it was like, oh my god, here we go. Felt buzzing like.
I'm excited to see that in hand. I think that's going to be a one that's once it's in hand, will pop off more. I think it's still under the radar. I think once it comes in hand and people see what's in there, then you'll see it go crazy.
It's funny that with boxes, you never know if they drop or increase in price once they're in hand. It's
that Firmino's killed me. Still can't get rid of it.
I ripped a few of them the other day. How many did you get? 2 or something? Ripped them and just I didn't get much. Like
I got the autograph and I still can't get rid of it.
the Firmino auto. I got a Firmino auto actually.
What one did you get?
I forget. I don't know. Are there ones that are more sought after?
Yeah, some are parallel and some of the Champions League and like them ones. I just got that one, but I'm trying to sell it as a set with the museum, sort of Firmino set, but Liverpool fans aren't very keen.
I don't know. I think I put it on Instagram the other day. It's one of those sets that you could get a Messi, like, couldn't you? So it's
Yeah.
That's what people
still a
change.
buzz open on it. But it's funny actually because I had them delivered to my UK address, and I nipped up home first time in months. Not too long. It was just like last weekend, and I got my mum to open one of them. I opened one, and I was like, "Look, now if you see anything with an autograph or a parallel, like just shout." And she said, "Oh no, nothing." I was like, "What? Nothing?" So I looked through and found a parallel. I was like, "Oh, grand." Didn't look through them all, but I seen the parallel and was like, "Oh well, she wouldn't have missed that." That was obviously it. There was no auto. That's a shame. You can't miss an auto. Stuck it back in the box. No care, no protective sleeve at all. I was like, I'll stick them in my bag, and when I get home, I'll go in and go through, grab the Anthony rookie and Jermaine Araujo, or I don't know what was his name, the other rookie. I grabbed them out in the parallel and I'll sleeve them when I get home. Came home, just whipped it out to look through them, and there was a Firmino auto. The bitch missed. You know? Okay. But look, I'll forgive her.
Oh, mental. Are we happy to move on to Sorare, boys? Is that all right? Can I indulge in?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Any other hobby discussions you want to have, or
Me?
no?
I'm happy.
Will and Derek, anything hobby you want to?
I think so.
Or
No.
you happy to move on to
Yeah,
digital
crack on,
cards?
Is it worth John just giving us an overview of his like transition into Sorare and how it came about, and that'd be interesting to know.
So I'm just a degenerate who likes all these kind of different things. Too much time. I'm a shift worker, and I've been off for 2 weeks now. Another 2 weeks off, just burning off annual leave and stuff. I'm an air traffic controller, so it's not like we're too busy the last year. But so I've really ramped up all the things I'm into. I do fancy football, I this, at that, and I started dabbling in Sorare about last September. So there's a couple of guys, Quinny, who makes a lot of video content, and Hobby, who makes the podcast. These two lads, I have been known from the Football Index world, and I'd have been chatting to them. They were trying to get me on for ages. I finally bit and got on last September, and it was everything I wanted. It was fantasy football. It was soccer cards, the collectability aspect. It was trading. It was everything I wanted. So I kind of dabbled, could see the potential, but didn't really think it would happen as quick as it did. It was very, very niche. But thankfully, I got a good bit of money in and a good few cards before February. Whenever I seen the Gary V tweet on Valentine's Day, I was like, "This is it," because I'd followed Gary V for probably a couple of years before that on Instagram. My girlfriend's brothers idolize him, like they're entrepreneurs, and so is he, and that's what it's all about. So I knew about this guy, and I knew what he brought with him. And whenever I seen him tweet, I was like, "That's it, it's done." So I deposited the last money that I could, and that was the last deposit I made. Went balls deep, and yeah, it's been mad since then.
You've not deposited since then?
Since February? No, not since the boom. No, I'm overexposed there. Not necessarily irresponsibly, but relative to what I put in. I mean, I put in a good bit of money before the boom, and it's 5x, 10x. Do you know what I mean? So when I look at the substantial amount of money that I put in beforehand, that was a fair amount for me to put in. But when I look at what it's worth now in terms of my overall kind of portfolios and where of money and soccer cards here and this there and that there, it's disproportionate. So I probably do need to pull out at some stage, just to be, in terms of risk management. It's not because I need the money. It's more risk management. This prudent move for me now is to diversify there,
just to balance
it's
a bit.
too much of my kind of investments.
Well, if you're moving players, you know where to go.
I know the guy. I know just the man.
Do you think that boom has made it harder for people to get into it now, though? Do you think that's because the prices have gone up now? It just makes it more of a, not elitist, but more bit, obviously need a bit more money to get in at the ground level now, don't you?
I think it's imperative that they get the new scarcity rolled out soon to make it more inclusive. The bottom line is where I think this game goes, and I think it's ceiling on the amount of people that'll play it long term as NFTs become more mainstream, which is a whole other topic. I do think this can hit millions of players. I really do. Hundreds of thousands, definitely. Probably. I really do think. I wouldn't be in there if I didn't think it could hit millions. I think this is going to be the new age of fantasy football collectability. I really do. Where was I going with that? I think they need a new scarcity, obviously, but I think like
Goalkeepers
Division 1,
first,
Division
surely.
2, goalkeepers is a thing. Goalkeepers, you just need more clubs on board.
You think that's what it is in the clubs?
Well, like there's only so many goalkeepers in the teams they have licensed. They've just over 130, 140 licenses.
If you did 150 keepers, rather than 100, if you did 150, that gives that little bit. Yeah, like in the scarcity ball, I think they've got to increase the goalkeepers first, just to because that's my next stage. I'm in the peripherals. I'm like, okay, I've got a very good team, I've got a decent team, but I now need to get the goalkeeper, which I'm trying to sort out. Hopefully, can get sorted out. And it's sort of that step up. If not, that's that one big sort of risk.
What's that investment to step up though, George? What is that? Is that a significant outlay?
450, I think it is. Yeah, I think 450s.
Yeah,
the keeper that
you're not going to reach millions with that. Like the thing, here's the thing they're trying to the line they're trying to toe, and the awkward place they're in is they need to maintain the current values as much as possible. So they can't just go making rares 150 now. Like that's not going to happen. Rares will always be 100, but the new scarcity, they need to roll it out, and they need to make extra divisions, because I don't want the players that I've paid a load of money for, the 10, the 12 keepers I have, because I get in early, and yes, early adopters get very lucky, and now they're whales, and it is a bit elitist in terms of the money, and I completely agree with that. But the way this game should be set is, I think that the golden sort of vision should be that there's more, there should be 6 divisions, 7 divisions, and there needs to be this clear progression that it is possible to come in on a small budget. It's again in life. If someone wants to come in with money, they're entitled to, and they can come in and jump. It's like any game. You come in, you shouldn't be able to necessarily just pay to win, but you should be able to pay to compete for higher prizes at a higher price point. But if you can bring in Division 5, Division 6, a new scarcity that's more accessible, 10, 20 quid a card, something like that, the market will decide. That means someone can come in, compete in this Division 5, Division 6, win rare cards, potentially compete in Division 4. Then they get into Division 4 enough cards. The chance are on Division 3. I think if anything, Division 3 or even maybe Division 4, I think like Division 4, you should have the chance to win a super rare. Maybe it's a bit unattainable, but I think like to give progression from, you can't really compete in D3 without a super rare.
Don't say that.
You can, but like
that's
tough.
That's my next step up.
Division 3
this weekend.
Well, like good luck, but you'll be playing against people with 3 captains. Do you know what I mean? Compared to you.
Yeah, but my score in Div 4 would have got me in top 50 last weekend.
It'll get you in top 50, but you're not going to podium. You're not going to get top 10. You're not going to get star rares.
I'm not. Do
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, like it's definitely worth doing if you have 2 teams.
Yeah.
Definitely throw the second one in there. But what I'm saying is like, if you're only going to with rares, of course it can happen. You can get 5 players with 100. You can get 5 players with 90s. It can happen. I find it very hard to compete with 2 super rares.
That when you say like you can come in and buy your way to the top, I always think it's football though. This is the thing that I think's amazing. Like I brought my team. I finished 32nd in Div 4 last weekend, and I had the luckiest weekend because it's football. Like Savic scored his first goal of the season, scored like 98. Pepe come on in the 65th minute, scored within 2 minutes, scored a 90. I did like a loan with someone. We sort of swapped players for the weekend. He scored 98, and then Dax McCarthy had an outstanding game, scored 60, and I was just like, that's ridiculous. Like that's what I love about it. It's football. People are like obviously Derek says like you have to like spend like over 1,000, and I'm like, it's football. It's very, very slim chance. Don't get me wrong, very slim, but you could come in and spend a little bit and just get so lucky because it's football. You can't.
So to be competitive and to buy cards that are probably also have got a benefit as an investment, you are looking at 1,500 minimum money to get a good first team.
Definitely.
Yeah. Look, the barrier to entry is too high, but the issue for Sorare now is trying not to shaft everyone who went balls deep early. And like the current cards, you bring in a new scarcity, and if you do that, you have to bring in new divisions for those people to compete. Like it should be accessible to everyone, but I think the other side of it is like even me, I've been stuck in D4s with like 2 D3 teams now, which to some people I'm a fucking wheel, and I appreciate that. But I'm looking at the guys here in D3, D2, D1. I've been here creating content, plugging away in Sorare for 8 months, and I'm still not even getting D3 teams out regularly. I'm making the transition now to offload rare cards to get more super rares because I want to try and push D3. And on an occasional week, if the stars align, maybe I'll just put in 1 D2 squad and global and walk away if I can't have 5 competitive super rares. But it's like,
you spread your food, haven't you? You've when I see your like squad building or weeks, you will have 4 teams in Europe, Asia. So I think that's whereas my vision is I'm just going to build one very good squad. If you know what I mean, because I don't know if I'll be able to. Because if you think your Asia team's got to be worth a fair bit, if you put that into like just a European team, that's why I think it's amazing that you can have so many options. Like you could have the spread field where you go one in Asia, one. You could have Div 3 Asia, Div 4 Asia. You could have Div 3, Div 4 Europe, Div 3, Div 4 Challenger Europe, and do it. Or you could just go bang. I'm going in hard on one team.
yeah,
And then risk one DNP and you're absolutely screwed for the weekend.
well, that's it. I think like if you're starting, I think the natural starting point is you build a global D4, you try and churn ETH, which will probably be changing soon, but that's a different day. We start out a global D4 and then, but the way I looked at it then, I kind of just scattergunned for the first ages and then I kind of optimized. And even now I'm just starting to like come around to stacking a bit more and trying to get defenders to match my keepers and trying to do this sort of thing. But I don't know. I think they're in a tough place. I don't think, I really believe in the company long term. I believe in the people running it. I believe they make good decisions. The AMA is coming very shortly. Is it even tomorrow maybe or Friday?
I think it's coming.
And like with the backing they have, with the onboarding they're doing, even in terms of staff, the amount of investment they have, they don't even market yet. I just think
app, don't they?
The app, you see, I see this going. I'm very bullish as well. People listening are probably very skeptical. Don't take my word. I've been wrong before. I was on Football Index. But like the thing with it is like I just think they need to wait to the summer. I think what they're doing is waiting to the end of the season to do it. They don't want to do it mid-season. And I think this summer, maybe post Euros, we'll see a new scarcity added to make it more accessible to more people with a clear progression that it is attainable to think if I play this game for 5 years, I can compete in D3, D2 from a 200 quid investment if I am good. Because, sorry, I'm going off on one here. I know people who have,
love it.
It's all about using your edge. Like I know guys reach out to me from all over now because of like the YouTube videos and stuff. And there's guys who are like, even like Cardar, who you might know. He knows Belgium inside out. He knows Belgium inside out. And I don't, and neither do 99% of the people on Sorare. And if you can buy the next Lukaku, De Bruyne before they happen, there's that play as well. You can use your niche knowledge when the championship's added. Maybe people follow championship teams.
Hopefully,
they can find their...
hopefully soon. That's the plan.
You need League One, don't you, George?
But there's so much that can be done there. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. In a nutshell, yes, I do think at the minute it's a bit too elitist for my liking, albeit I got very lucky and I can compete and have fun. But I do think it's coming.
It's good to know. It's good to hear that it is coming. Yeah, that's really good.
Because it's at the forefront of their mind. They're never going to be global if they don't.
No.
I think what I never brought into Football Index. I didn't trust I looked at it. I couldn't work out what it was or who was behind it. Whereas So Rare, I got in the bubble. I'll admit I brought players for way too much than what they are now. I was in when Gary V put a message out. I said to my sister, I was like, look, Gary V's in now. Let's go. She gave me some money to sort of play with. And I sort of brought players that were way too expensive than what they should have been. But I was very lucky as well. But I think when you see, it's Dan and Nicholas, isn't it? When you see their communication and their ideas, and I listen to So Rare podcast every week, and you can hear the progression's going to be there. When there's highlights, when there's subscriptions, when there's new tiers, and it's going to be so big. Like you think how many people play fantasy football? This is going to be like an NFT on your phone where you can watch highlights of the player that you've got. Or even when Griezmann gets a card, I can see him saying, if you own my rare, you go into a hat to do a meet after the game. Or like you look at Hans Vanaken, got the player card. He's going to then get involved and do, if you've got like a first edition Hans Vanaken, you can come watch a game. I just think it's the evolution is unstoppable. It's going to be amazing. But I think I'm in it because I think the future's going to be. We'll look back now. We'll say the cards are high, but in a year, 2, 3 years, it's just going to be unreal. Hopefully.
I think with new scarcities, rares almost become rarer. They aren't the entry level kind of thing anymore. They are more premium.
Yeah.
And I think, like Gary V, you mentioned there, his NFT drop today. It doesn't drop today, but he released the details for it today. Did you see what he's doing?
Yeah, you can go to the VCon, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, there's so many different things. Like he has NFTs that'll mean like you can play tennis with him once a year.
Yeah. Like a meet and greet, that's going to be mad.
All this sort of shit. Like whenever Sorare go here, and this is the big thing that I think people forget about whenever the reward structures are discussed, thresholds are discussed. Yes, if this is a purely collector game where you buy cards to win cards to win cards to win cards with the occasional ETH prize if you podium, that doesn't sound great to me. But what people are forgetting is that the grand vision for this, and Nicholas was saying it 6 months ago, and he still says it, and it is the focal point of Sorare. It is that NFT smart contract ability of being able to say in 2 years' time, in a year and a half's time, whenever the World Cup is, like I believe that next year, the year after, there'll be like any super rare holder, any unique holder will be put in a draw to win a 5-day all expenses paid trip to the World Cup finals, or do you know that type of shit? There'll be really big premium footballing experiences. Any rare holder of this will get flown out to a Bruges game once a year. Not every rare holder, but like a rare holder or this, you know,
being the hat to do it.
That sort of shit will be coming.
Oh, it's gonna be mad.
Among signed jerseys, meeting players, phone calls with players, Zoom calls with people, any other football experience you can think of. You go to the stadium, you bank it, and you get a free pint. Do you know, this sort of shit? Like, that's coming.
Oh, 100%. It's going to be crazy.
But, okay, geez, I could talk about that all day.
But I need to apologize for when I first joined Sorare for hassling you every couple of minutes with questions. I need to apologize for that now. At all.
You're nowhere near as bad as some people. Don't worry.
I absolutely caned you every 5 minutes. I was so panicked though. I was on it and I was like, "What if I do this wrong? What if I do this? What if I do that?"
It was confusing. They've got better. Their onboarding's a bit better now. But
it's
still
so good.
Maybe it's maybe not as good as it could be, but like better than it was back then.
Have you got any questions for us? As we're less than a minute, have you got any questions for us you want to fire away?
Less than a minute. Do you know what? Here, everyone, I'll do it for you because then it's better. Everyone fucking like the video and subscribe to the podcast and all that stuff. You know, share it everywhere. Tell everyone how amazing the lads are. But no, it was a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me on.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for your time.
I really appreciate it.